What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the NBA Hardwood show here on the Run Pure Sports YouTube channel. It's Tuesday, November 18th, joined today, Tuesday afternoon, by the great Rubio Dimes, talking today's four-game DraftKings slate. We'll probably hit on the six-gamer over on FanDuel as well, but mostly focused on DraftKings, of course. Rubio, how you doing on this Tuesday afternoon?
Not much. Got the call from the bullpen here, from JSU to fill in. And, I was building out. I haven't played soccer DFS in quite a while, and I was building out 18 teams, hand building them. So I'm going to be tracking that during the show. But we got four games that, honestly, pretty good for the most part. And then you got six games on FanDuel. The NBA hasn't had a game past 9 o'clock since like Thursday of last week. So sure enough, we'll just throw a 10:30 and an 11 o'clock in there, just to keep us on our toes a little bit. But last time we were on a show, DC, was about 5-6 days ago, Thursday. That was the Jalen Johnson was your play of the day when he went off for like 92 fantasy points on Onyeka Okongwu. And even Dylan Brooks had like 32 real points. We hit a lot. I think that was the slate that Chef Rank won 100K on using AP's heat map and stuff too. It was really good.
Yeah, good stuff on that show. And Chef Frank with the big 100K score. We'll hope to keep it going. Pick some winners today. Hopefully, you guys watching, members of the RPS team, all that stuff, have good nights on this somewhat abbreviated NBA slate. But I certainly don't mind shorter slates. Can kind of dig in and puts more players per team in play, which I think is fun. So let's jump into it. We just have one game starting at 7 Eastern time. It is in Orlando. Magic and Warriors here. Pretty modest 223 total in this one. Warriors favored by about 3 currently. Injury news, Kuminga going to miss for the Warriors, and Banchero going to be out for another couple of weeks here, it looks like, for the Orlando Magic. And then questionable is Jalen Suggs. Missed last game. I kind of assume he'll be back in there today, but we'll see. With the questionable tag, obviously would open up even more plays if he's out along with Banchero. So we do have the Suggs news to wait for. I do think he'll play, but mostly everything else in this game is kind of already decided in terms of injury news. So not a ton of news to wait for in this one, but what do you see first game of the night here, Rubio, Golden State and Orlando?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, right? No Banchero, you saw last game in a tough defensive matchup. Anytime you go against the Rockets right there, you're going to have some troubles. And they should have won that game after they almost stole it late. And then all of a sudden it goes into overtime. They ended up losing. Suggs missing out in that one. You saw Anthony Black with a huge workload. Desmond Bane got 39 minutes in regulation too, which was, incredible. And just so people know, Suggs has been kind of on this soft limit, right? People who have been paying attention to the NBA know this. It's he's been kind of around that 24, 25-minute mark. When Banchero went down on Friday, he played about 28. So his minutes have slightly trended up. So if he's in at 6,100, he did look good in that Friday game. I think he had a 14, 7, and 6, right? That's the stuff you want to see. But again, without Banchero, it's going to be Franz and Bane's team. And Bane has left a ton to be desired in his short tenure here with the Magic. And I don't really know what the thing is. Maybe he had trouble being the third option, but without Banchero there, look, these last couple games, DC, 44 and 40 minutes, right? 44, if you want to bring that down to 39, right? Adjust it for the overtime. It's tough at 7,300 not to get there most of the time, right? He was 8K in his Memphis days. So I'm willing to bank on him to kind of get back to that old form as a number 2 option, right? Because he's been kind of the second option his whole career. Kind of going into that third option role can be very difficult. You got Franz and Banchero, 2 great players that you've been kind of playing behind, but kind of, shifting into this. Not only is it more usage, but probably allows them to get into a, much more into a flow state, I would almost say, right? Because it has not been the case at all. Wendell Carter Jr. had a huge first quarter against the Rockets, kind of fizzled out, but he's okay there at 5,300. De Silva, since moving into the starting lineup, the minutes are very good to kind of, see. The thing is, will he get minutes if he has a cold shooting night in the first half or whatever? Maybe, maybe not. But at 5K, you can't do much wrong there. If Suggs is in, Black's price is a little bit too high. Then you have your other fillers here. flipping it over to the Golden State side of the ball, the Kuminga thing is hilarious. It just sounds like all of the Golden State Warriors hate Jonathan Kuminga. Like even like Jimmy Butler was throwing some shade toward Kuminga a couple games ago, and what we had Will Richard and into the starting lineup, and it just seems a little messy. Then you had Moses Moody come out and hit 7 threes in the first half or first quarter even. I'm trying to, who are they playing? Because I put on that game late. It was the Pelicans. Oh yeah. God. I do not want to talk about the Pelicans, but did you see the story that just happened, DC? That Willie Green wasn't fired last year despite David, who's the former Cavs GM? Was it David Griffin?
I think so. Yeah, that sounds right.
David Griffin tried to fire Willie Green twice last year, but the owner wouldn't allow it because she was best friends with Willie Green's wife. So if you hit 8 threes against them, I mean, is that really an accomplishment when their coach is only employed because of that? But yeah, I think that was the first game anyway. But I had to get that out there when I saw that. That was hilarious. But yeah, Moody had an amazing shooting night, but 5,700. That's really expensive, right? It just kind of gets up there, and even like Draymond Green, 6,500. It just feels like all the Warriors are too priced up, and this isn't the sexiest spot in the world. Like let me go ahead and check these pace numbers too, because like historically we've always felt like the Magic played slow, but to start out the year they were actually like halfway decent in terms of pace. And they've
slowed down a little.
Yeah, they have definitely slowed down a little. So they were top 10 in the first 6 games, and then since then they have now moved all the way down to 22nd. So I'm more on the Orlando side just because without Banchero, the prices aren't fully adjusted yet. They definitely, I'll give DK credit. They hard adjusted a little bit. Like Bane wasn't like 6,600 today, right? 7,300. You got Franz at 8,700. So I like the price adjustments, but it's still not enough. It's definitely more Magic than Warriors tonight.
Yeah, I definitely think the Magic side's a more interesting one. Like Bane, like you mentioned, you could see the big games coming for him, right? Especially if Suggs misses. Part of his problem, he's just not shooting it really well. I mean, he's at like 44% overall field goal percentage, 31% from 3. He's a pretty good shooter in general. So both those numbers below his career averages. Blocks and steals really haven't been there for Bane either. That's not like his game, but just everything a little bit down across the board, which, obviously the role change has played into that. But I also kind of think just kind of feeling his way with the new team, right? A little bit, and trying to just kind of get into the groove, like you said. No Banchero. If Suggs misses 2, I don't mind it at 7,300. Obviously, Anthony Black would become a really good play if Suggs is out. And yeah, I mean, I think Franz Wagner, even at 8,700, seems like a strong, high floor and moderate ceiling play as well. So De Silva, Orlando looks good here, I think. Way more interesting than the Golden State side. And I don't know. Sometimes those Golden State guys, I kind of think they're, just led by Draymond Green, right? They just don't like the youngsters in general. Obviously had the Jordan Poole issues, now Kuminga. I don't know what's going on there, but I don't like the Warriors. It's too old. I'm glad to see them, struggling a little bit. So Orlando here, I think, is the more interesting side. Who's your favorite play from Golden State, Rubio? If let's say Suggs is out and you're playing, maybe 3 or 4 Magic, you probably want something from the Golden State side on a 4-game slate. Who's your favorite of the bunch?
Man, I mean, it would be a cop-out answer to say Curry, but on a night-to-night basis, I can't trust Jimmy Butler to kind of get there at 8K, right? It's been troublesome. And, we know outside of those top 3 guys, if you wanted to throw in Draymond as a top 3 guy, the minutes are just so spread out, right? Like Pods moved to the bench. I think it would probably be Curry, just trying to go for that 115, 111 game. And Curry,
at least he has the upside. I mean, Draymond's never putting up. I mean, his season high for the year is under. He hasn't put up 40 once the entire year. He's only missed 1 game.
That's incredible. After the start he had last game, I am shocked that he did not get 40 last game.
Yeah, and it just. At 6,500, I mean, you're kind of looking for 40 there. So, yeah, I think Steph, I don't play much Steph, but he makes the most sense, I think, because he can at least pop off for 60, 65. I just don't see it with Draymond or necessarily Jimmy Butler either. Any final thoughts on Golden State, Orlando, Rubio?
I mean, no real final thoughts. Just be aware of what Kerr can do. I mean, I don't think he's going to take Moody out of the starting lineup at all after hitting 8 threes or whatever. And Richard, it's interesting, right? Because those guys are catch and shoot for the most part. Like Richard, he had 9 field goal attempts, 5 of those were threes. Moody had 16 field goal attempts, 12 of those were threes. So, maybe I could enlighten myself to more Butler after 10 assists last game, right? A lot of kickouts to Moody. Moody hit a very high percentage of those, but, could lead to increased, assist numbers for him. But, yeah, nothing too notable.
Yeah, makes sense. Let's go to the next game on the night. Detroit and the Atlanta Hawks here. And there's all kinds of injury news that we're waiting on here. Doing this early show. Pretty tough to break down this game. We'll do our best. Right now, sitting at around a 230 total and pretty close on the spread. Atlanta currently favored by about 1 point. So expected to be close, reasonably high scoring. And then on the injury side, Detroit, they've missed Cunningham for 3 games now, and we've seen Mr. Jenkins, Dennis Jenkins, has certainly got the job done. 4 straight games for Jenkins. That first one was even with Cunningham in the lineup, and he's just continued it. He's at 47, 45, 38, and 41 fantasy points in his last 4. So if Cunningham does miss, I think you got to go back to Dennis Jenkins. I know I'm certainly considering it. Tobias Harris also missed multiple games. He is questionable as well. And then Oscar Thompson, again, missed 4 games in a row. Again, questionable. I don't know if you have a read on these guys, Rubio. You can talk about that in a second. Atlanta side has plenty of news too. Okongwu, Kristaps Porzingis, and Zachary Risache all questionable to play. We do know LeVert out, Ivy remains out, Trae Young remains out. So a lot, Sasser out as well. A lot going on with these two teams, Rubio. It's obviously tough given, what do we have, 6 significant questionable tags here, 3 on each side. But do your best. Break this one down for us. Kind of talk about what to do, if certain combination of players are out or in.
Yeah, so last game, Duren returned. Apparently, Duren and Cunningham warm up together. So if you see one without the other, right? So that's what happened last game. Duren was warming up. Cade Cunningham wasn't. We got the news that Cade was out, Sir as well. That's going to be the most key news on the slate, right? Cade seemed very close to coming back. Sir as well. So it's Thompson and Cunningham, if they're back, right, it just nukes the entirety of the Pistons team, right? You're not going to click on Jenkins at 6K, Paul Reed, Javonte Green. All those guys would be off limits. Thompson himself would be a decent click. Cunningham as well. I mean, Cunningham's price of 11K is, damn, that's high. That's high, especially when there wasn't a ton of value in that first game, and then you have all the Pistons priced up. And it's not like the Hawks. Those guys have been out for a while too. So it's not like you're getting any insane value on this slate. So 11K for Cunningham, if he is in, is going to be a little bit steep. Jalen Duren, DC, what the hell happened over the summer? This dude is insane. I haven't sat down to watch a Pistons game in a little bit, and then I kind of watched the Pacers game, and when I saw him crossing up the opposing center around the free throw line, hitting a jumper, and then going in, mixing it up on the boards and stuff, and dunking it, just everything. My only concern with Jalen Duren at this point, because I really do feel like he might just be a mainstay at 9K down the line, is just minutes. The minutes last game were really weird. He only had 29 minutes. That was fresh off after playing 40 and 37 the previous week, right? It could have been the first game back, but it also could have been more of a sign for hey, Paul Reed's been playing incredibly well. We don't want to, take him out of the rotation completely. And Jalen Duren coming off an injury, maybe we just kind of limit his minutes just slightly. Sabre, our friends at Sabre here, they got him at around 30 minutes, and the projection is still great, right, at 42. If you were to see 33, 34 minutes for Duren, he's an absolute smash play. But if you see the 29 to 30 that he got last game, it kind of turns me off a little bit. So on Duren, yeah, you're playing the minutes game. He can still be a good click in 30 minutes, but man, the upside could be even more if he does see the minutes trend up after the last game's nerfing of him. Denise Jenkins, the dude's usage is incredible. I mean, I don't know, like if Cunningham and Usser are out, honestly, it would probably be Duran. Stewart got ejected, or not ejected, got a flagrant one, and then fouled out of the game with like 6 or 7 minutes left. And then there was also a thing too. The stat keeper screwed up in that Pacers game. Stewart had like 2 blocks and a steal not credited to him. It was incredible stuff. Really, I was really mad.
Did you send a strongly worded email to the league office, Rubio?
There was a time where I got screwed out of 25K because Russell Westbrook wasn't credited a block. I've learned to just live and let learn, right? Like who cares? Who cares? I can't control all 30 stat keepers. I was so pissed off last game.
If you ever figure out a way to actually get that done, let me know. That'd be helpful. Helpful to there used to be, Rubio, the stat keeping in the NBA. I used to track home and away assist numbers because the assist numbers would go way up for some players when they were playing at home. It's actually still true. But they've cracked down a little bit where there's not as much of an edge.
Correct. I've seen a lot of Twitter buzz about, this guy wasn't credited assists, and I'm like, I hate people with bitch found on Twitter. And then you look at the assists, you're like, yeah, they had a point. Like that was a catch and shoot three. Why was that not credited?
Some of those scorekeepers hand out assists like candy to the home team. It's like
DC. Not to get too off topic, but like my brother, he lives in Nevada. Right? He doesn't get. He comes over to Kentucky. He's like 8 years older than me. He never sports bet, but he's like, hey, like I want a sports bet, and I gave him Reeves' assist. Right? Reeves had an assist given to like. I can't even remember who, like LeBron James or something like that. It was clearly a Reeves assist. Got credited like 4 days later, right? And of course, we lost our bet on it, right? We lost on the hook. I'm sitting there, I'm like, I guess he doesn't want a sports bet anymore, right? It was just, like, come on, they don't look alike. Like, come on now, let's be real here.
No, they don't. Yeah.
And I mean, like, and Stewart not getting those blocks and steal, it killed me because, like, it would have been like almost a 30 piece if he got those on FanDuel, especially. That would have been 9 extra points and 5,600. He's a guy that I'm going to be interested in. The minutes were incredibly down because he got 3 fouls really early. I think he played like 10 minutes in the first half, like 10 in the second half. He hates the Pacers. That flagrant one could have easily been a flagrant 2. I just think I think he would be a guy I would be interested in no matter what if he starts. We saw him off the bench a couple games ago, but again, saw him start last game. I'm going to be clicking his name because I know Duran is such a force in the paint, but at the same time, like Stewart's got incredible stock upside. He could easily get like a 15-8 and like, 3 blocks or so and pay off this tag. It would be those 3 guys, Jenkins, Duran, and Stewart, if Cade Cunningham and Usser miss. And if Usser and Cunningham are back, it would probably just be Duran, Stewart, and Thompson just a little bit. And that's on the Pistons side of the ball only.
Yeah, we'll go to the Pacers. Not the Pacers, the Hawks quickly here. But yeah, Duran, I mean, he just looks like a grown man out there, man. Like no one can keep him off the boards, right? It's just I don't know what his offensive rebounding rate is. I assume it's up there with the leaders. Yeah, and just getting the job done. And yeah, he played 29 minutes last time. He missed the last around 3 because of the game was kind of in hand. They pulled most of the starters. Yeah, he missed 2 games. I bet Duran's back up here. So definitely like him at 8K, especially if we'll get to Atlanta here in a minute. I mean, they might be down. They're best 2 centers in Okongwu and Porzingis, who are both questionable. And yeah, Duran would get a bump there. So yeah, we'll see with the Detroit news. What about the Atlanta side, Rubio? Okongwu coming off back-to-back monster performances, now questionable to play in this one. Porzingis has missed 2 in a row, also questionable. Obviously, Trae Young is out. Risache questionable. And then, our guy Jalen Johnson, 92 piece on that game you mentioned back on the 13th, put up 31, 18, 14 with 7 steals. Quite the game from Jalen Johnson. You love to see it. Not the greatest matchup on paper here, but I still do like him some, even at 9,500, if the pieces are out for the Atlanta Hawks. Talk to us what you're doing with the Hawks news and kind of what you're waiting for there.
I was telling you on that same show, like Jalen Johnson was 55-1. Like the first game Trey was out for a triple double. And like, I didn't even look at that slate, for the triple double prop. And then sure enough, he has one of the best games ever. Right. It just kills me. I was like, man, like I've been betting his triple doubles for like a year now. Right? Like not missing out on the 31, 18 and 14 kind of killed. Having it in fantasy was fun, but so did everyone and their mom. I think this is a team I can't really figure out for the most part in terms of like what the news is going to fall for Okongwu and Porzingis and Ricochet, right? Like I feel like I'd be guessing if Porzingis is out, Okongwu. I love Okongwu. His game is just really solid. 7,200, not too tall of a tag. It's a tough matchup against Thurin a little bit. Like I'm kind of curious to see how like these centers kind of deal with him. But I'd have interest. But if Porzingis is in, like that's where the issue arises, right? Like this is a team that has, again, anyone who watched basketball would know, like Trae Young sucks, and that him missing is making this team better. They won 5 in a row.
Number one Trae Young hater, Rubio Dimes over there.
Facts. Caleb Williams and Trae Young. All right, that's the only two guys that I have a disdain for. But when you win 5 in a row without Trae Young, how important is he, right? He
doesn't play like your man Ricky Rubio, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, at least Ricky Rubio knew he couldn't shoot. Trae Young does not know he can't shoot, right? He's one of the worst 3-point shooters in the league for a year and a half now running. So great stuff. But Porzingis, like his issue, right? It's like 26 minutes in their most recent close game that he played in, because the Sacramento game was a 33-point blowout. No need to really kind of stress about that, but it was against the Clippers where it was 105-102. He had 5 personal fouls, so maybe he could trend in that right direction of 30 plus minutes. I would have interest just because, like, on a game-to-game basis, it does feel like Porzingis can, if he's hitting his threes one day, right, the upside can be there. But everyone else kind of priced up. Like Null at 6,800, tough, right? Dyson Daniels 7,500, gross. So it'd be just Johnson and Porzingis / Okongwu, right? Like that would be for the most part. But if Okongwu and Porzingis miss, well, it completely changes the slate, right? You'd have Mohamed Gay, you'd have Asa Newell, like who I think the last time, is Beanair in the chat, right? Yeah, Beanair is in the chat. He had a ton of Asa Newell when he had like 4 stocks in the first half or whatever. It was good stuff. And it's a guy I could get behind at 3,100 on a slate like this where value isn't exactly imminent. And if we did get like a lot of that value, like Vic Krejci, talk about it. I think we talked about this like last Thursday. Like, oh yeah, Vic Krejci broke the slate, right? And there's no way he does it again. And then sure enough, that same night, DC, he goes off for 20 points and 3 assists, right? Like, his game has been kind of just been like really solid for the most part at 4,500. It's very news dependent. Like, we'll have all the content up at Run Pure Sports. We'll have all the Discord popping with, all the takes that, change with this news for the most part.
Yeah, makes sense. So we do have King of the Court tonight on DraftKings. So good call, Beanair, mentioning that. You have an early lean for your King of the Court selection. I mean, the smart thing to do, Rubio, is to wait, right, until you get the news and make your decision later. But anyone you're leaning toward right now?
Get the late games too. So I've always been a fan of. Well, the only time I hit it was the Apollo Banchero one. That was the only time I got it. Well, because I've stopped hitting like the Jokic and Doncic and stuff. I think the lowest payout was the most recent one. I think it was like $26. So I don't.
I won a Luka one. I think on the first one of the season, I got like 16 bonus 16.
No, I think it was larger than that. I think it was 40 or something, DC, because I think they did 2 million that day or something like that.
I remember being not super excited about my amount of bonus bets received.
That's very fair. You know what? Like, I got to check this, right? Because I would just go to my boy Denny Avdia. I would just do that on a whim, because if Drew Holiday was out, he played point last game. Denny Avdia would be my sneaky one, right? Where he could pop up a little bit, but I have to look at the news on that late game. I know someone asked earlier if we're covering all 6 games. It's just the 4 on DK. We'll also have late slate content too.
So
don't forget about that. Like, Big T will have his core and player pool up as well for the late slate.
Do you think the players in the late game are lower owned in King of the Court than they should be because they're not on the DraftKings DFS slate? I bet they are a little bit.
I think there's a theory to that, right? I 100% think that a lot of people want to get their King of the Court out of the way. They want to watch the King of the Court, right? Like, I know guys who go to bed at 9:00 and, they're not waiting until 11:00 to wake up if they won their bet, right? They're wanting to tilt Stephen Curry and Franz Wagner if they can, right? They want to watch the whole game. But a big thing, DC, is like, the bar is set, right? Like, exactly what your guy has to get. Like, let's say like going into the final 2 games that none of these guys in the first 4 games get above 42. Well, you can kind of get a little bit more aggressive with like an Avdia, right? Like it's it's not like the bar's 55 and you have to go Doncic or something like that, right? So it's incredibly dumb game theory, but it's game theory nonetheless in a fun bet.
We're both game theory bros, so we like to think about this stuff. So it's it's maybe not interesting to everybody, but it's interesting to a couple of nerds like us for sure. So yeah, King of the Court. Don't forget to get in there. Just a $5 bet required. You can bet any of the props for any player, including the unders. You can bet the under and then still win King of the Court, which I actually did on the Luka night.
That's funny. Hey, win-win, right? Win-win.
Nice little hedge. I felt like a small time criminal doing that, but yeah. Good stuff, King of the Court. Anything else to add? Detroit and Atlanta, Rubio, before we move on.
Just be alert to the news. Number 1 news spot on the entire slate. This game will definitely have varying opinions on it once. The Pistons got the news out 45 minutes before, so I think we'll get it before lock.
Yeah, we do have another game at this 7:30 Eastern time lock, and it is one we go from tons of news waiting for it on Detroit, Atlanta to as of now, literally none. No questionable players in this Boston and Brooklyn game. Boston favored by 11, pretty low 223 total. Cam Thomas is out, but he's been out for 5 games now. So we've seen the Nets prices adjust, and it's almost hard to believe there's no questionable players. I'm sure these coaches will see this and get someone out there questionable with some fake illness or contusion or something. But as of now, looks like we know who's going to play in this game. We should have a good idea on the starting lineups too. And anytime you've got like literally no injury news, Rubio, it's going to mean that most of the players are a little bit overpriced. 4-game slate on DraftKings, so you don't want to just write off anything too easily. But this has to be the worst DFS game of the night, right? Between the Boston Celtics, Brooklyn Nets. Anything here standing out to you?
Yeah, so look, I've had trouble with the Celtics all season, right? Like, you have Derek White, who's always 7K. You got Jaylen Brown, who's always in the 8Ks, and you got Peyton Pritchard. I swear to God, DC, they pop every time, right? Like, look at the projections here, right? It feels like there's a bunch of decent plays in this one.
Samerson loves these Boston guys. They're always high on the list.
And like, Jaylen Brown finally gets 50 on a slate that had to be the early game. Because he also injured Derek Jones Jr. with diving into his knee recklessly, which was disgusting to watch. But it's one of those things where I've had trouble with them every single time. But a 33-13, Jaylen Brown shot the ball 33 times last game. Like, I guess that makes sense when you have Keita and Walsh in your starting lineup. And you've had Sam Hauser barely getting minutes too. Like, the offensive talent is so limited that when this team actually scores points, you'd expect them to, be between those 3 guys, right? This Nets team has been also hard to figure out for the most part, right? Like, it's too. Well, I would say the Nets are a terrible team and the Celtics are a mediocre team as of now. But when I look at this Celtics team, DC, here's their points scored per game, right? 121, 131. Then you have like 100, 111, 110, 136. Like, they have pop-off upside, but it feels like every time in those games where they score 130, it's just a complete blowout. Like, when they scored 131, Jaylen Brown sucked for fantasy. Peyton Pritchard went off. Derek White sucked for fantasy. So it's like, I have a hard time playing more than one guy from this Celtics team. Like even last game, Peyton Pritchard did okay, but he only had two assists and 3 rebounds. Derek White, that's 22, 7, and 9. Like, God, it's just so tough for me to figure out. I think if I had to rank them though, DC, it would be Brown, Pritchard, White. And it's just because Pritchard's tag in the middling like 6.3K is just so consistently hitting my lineups. Keita's fine too at 5,200. I'm not clicking Jordan Walsh's name because I've clicked his name enough in Summer League to know he is an absolutely terrible player. Javier, no, don't do it, Javier. No, Jordan Walsh is not going to kill it. He's not going to do it. I promise you. That dude.
Four good games in a row for Mr. Walsh, Rubio.
6-8, 3-3-1 against the Clippers on 5 shots. All right, if Jordan Walsh is beating me with stocks, so be it. I've played that dude as the number 1 option in Summer League, and I've seen him get less fantasy points than he is putting up right now. Like I don't get it. This dude is not good, man. Hauser. What's happened to Sam Hauser, man? Is Sam Hauser sick? Like, what's going on with him? Like, why is he only getting 6 minutes here, man? Like,
he's a freaking bum, man. You can't do anything except shoot threes.
That's all you need to do in today's NBA. Just shoot threes.
Yeah. They're not going in for him either, so that's a problem.
Oh God, that's good stuff right there. I mean, I played him so often, man. I'm dying. And SC, he sums it up for me. DC, when I want to fade Boston, they nuke. I let the Sims kind of deal with it. I'm not gonna have any Simons. I'm not gonna have any Manat. I'm not gonna have any Hauser. Walsh is just completely fine as a filler piece. I'm not going out of my way. If I'm hand building a lineup tonight, Walsh is not going to be in it. And then watch fate will have it that I have 4,300 for my last forward spot. But yeah, it's Brown, Pritchard, and White for me in that order, and then Keita would be a filler piece at 5,200.
Makes sense to me. Yeah, I think Boston. If you're playing a lot of lineups, just kind of spread it out between their main guys and hope to get lucky. It's just hard to know between Brown, White, and Pritchard who it's going to be on any given night. But yeah, I wouldn't go crazy stacking up Boston. Doesn't seem like the path to the top. What about the Brooklyn side? Some mentions of Michael Porter Jr. from the chat. 2 awesome games in a row, and he's had a number of big games. He's had like 6 or 7 games, 45 plus fantasy points. Can shoot the 3, obviously, and especially with Cam Thomas out, they don't have a ton of scoring talent on this team. So yeah, MPJ 7.6K. Feels like a high price tag, but he certainly earned it and certainly has proven he's got the upside. I like him a little bit. What else are you looking at on the Nets side, Rubio?
Yeah, I mean, if I had to put 2 teams in the bottom of my list, it would probably be Celtics Nets in terms of how they've treated me in fantasy this year.
I don't play many of these guys from either team, really.
No. It's MPJ had the most amazing first quarter against the was it the Wizards or was it might have been the Magic game that he had a huge 7 assists in back-to-back games for Michael Porter Jr. 7 plus assists, I should say, because he had 7. Wow, 34, 9, and 7 last game, man. Like maybe he is finding his rhythm a little bit. 7,600. Like I think I would like Michael Porter Jr. more than the Celtics guys. And I didn't really expect to say that. Then you got Nick Claxton, who's been kind of consistently getting these this weird role. You don't really associate Claxton being much of a distributor, but over the last 4 games, or stretch it back to the entire month of November here, DC, he's averaging 5 assists a game. That's quite an uptick from October. I mean, if you were to go to his career averages too, like it's incredible. Like you go back to 2024, 2025 season, he averaged 2 assists a game. So the fact that that's up to 5 right now is kind of incredible. I kind of want to see where SaberSim has his assist at. It's at 4.43. So they definitely adjusted. They still got MPJ way low down here. I'm also going to do one more thing. Potential assist is a great stat on NBA.com. See, is this just high conversion? Or is this like actually a sign of things to come for MPJ, right? Like that's the one thing that I'm going to kind of look up here real quick. Not to derail the entire show, but
I'm a potential assist guy, Rubio. So yeah, you take your time over there.
We're fiending for these potential assists. Let's do the last 5 games for these guys here. Potential assist. We have Michael Porter Jr. sitting in a nice 5.4, and then Claxton sitting at 8. My God, maybe this Claxton thing is like legit. MPJ over the last 3 games, his potential assist, because I kind of want to narrow it down, is 8. So what you're seeing from MPJ is just a very high conversion of his passes, while Claxton's is more authentic. So it makes sense that Saberson still has MPJ pretty low on the assist total. But again, those are 2 guys with a way better role than you would have thought, like even a week ago. Or I guess with Claxton, he's been doing it all year. I've just been completely oblivious to it in the month of November. So I do like Claxton quite a bit at 6,400 here. I even like MPJ a little bit. Like this is where it would have me kind of run it back with one of those Boston guys like Brown, Pritchard, or White. And then it would even be like, Keita's in there too. Someone mentioned the Nets suck against bigs. Like our guy Javier mentioned it. So yeah, Keita could easily be a run back there. But then you'd be using both center spots, which might be a slight issue with this last game. But again, like it's not like any of these other centers prior, other than Duran, really popped off the page either. So that's fine. Jason, you mentioned no love for Luka Garza. I'm fine with Luka Garza. It's just it's like 14 minutes last game, 13-4. Not bad. Don't get me wrong. But again, you're if you're playing for 18 DK, which that could be the golden night. We haven't had a ton of value pop off the page where Garza may pop more than I would have thought, Jason. But like if I only have him at like 18, I'm getting a lot of him. That will say a lot, right? But right now with the Pistons and Hawks news up in the air, I mean, if they're all in, Garza could be a much better play than I'm projecting right
now. Only what did he play? 14 minutes last game. He didn't foul out though. Just was a foul machine. So yeah, he's interesting. I also think he probably gets blowout run, right? Too. If Boston runs away with this game, I would imagine he would be out there to close it out, and obviously a good offensive talent too. So yeah, I think Garza's fine, depending on the news at 3,300. Anything else here, Rubio, on Boston, Brooklyn?
We do have a large sample of Boston blowing teams out too. So I'm going to go ahead and just look at that just to confirm, because if you were to do that, right, if you were playing Luka Garza and he was like your only guy from this game, like that could be an intriguing thing. You might want another Boston guy, like assuming that they would be, blowing out the team. But on November 12th, he played 17 minutes, 14-7. Shireman, Harper, Hugo Gonzalez, and it might have been our guy Bobby Boucher getting some minutes too. So interesting stuff there.
What was the date?
November 12th. So they won by like 36 or something like that. What was
Garza did not close that game. He did not play in the fourth quarter. So
interesting. Yeah, that's good. All right, that's good to know. You got the charts up.
Yeah, got the popcorn machine up over here, Ruby. We gotta have the popcorn machine up.
That's good stuff right there. Finishing up on Nets guys outside of those top 2. I like Igor's game a lot, right? Like these are guys that I'm fine with hitting as a last piece. Like I don't really love Martin off the bench, but he's like fine. Like these guys are all fine right here. Like Clowney, man, Zaire Williams, Igor, Martin, even Sharp. This is where your value would kind of come from. And I didn't like this game coming into it, DC, but I think Brooklyn keeps this game close. I think that there is potential that both teams could, this could creep into the 230s, 240s, even like if it really pops off the page. So I could easily see myself having 4 or 5 guys from this game. And, it could be 2 Nets plus a value plus a Celtics run back, or maybe it's like Brown and Keita with, MPJ, Claxton, and Igor. So I think these guys are all good. I mean, I'd be lying to you if I had conviction on any of these guys. I like Igor's game. I liked him at BYU, and then I've liked watching him in the preseason too, like where he I think he had like 1 game in the preseason where I got to watch, and it was like, oh yeah, this guy has some juice to him. And then he started his first game of his NBA career not too long ago too, and started out on fire. Like, yeah, it's the eye test. That's all.
We love the eye test, Rubio. We know you're watching the games. You love to see it. Let's get to the last game on the DraftKings slate. It is an interesting one for sure, especially on the Spurs side of the ball. Memphis and San Antonio here. Spurs will be without Wembanyama, going to be out for a while. Looks like this is his second game that he's missed. Obviously, the key piece on that Spurs team. And then they'll be without Stephen Castle as well, who's been awesome for them. Went down in the first half yesterday, or not yesterday, 2 days ago. We saw Champagny come into the starting lineup. And they recently got Fox back as well. He's been back about a week now. He's played well for them. The minutes have ticked upward. Really no worries with the injury for him. And with Castle out, Harper's out. He's been out a few games, but he remains out. Wembanyama out. This Spurs team has certainly changed a lot from what they looked like at the beginning of the year when they had Wembanyama, Castle, healthy, Harper as well, and no Fox in there. So looking at it now, I mean, it's hard not to think this is kind of Fox's team to some degree. I think the secondary guy and the backup point guard, at least last game when Fox went out, they kept Devin Vassell in there, who's a pretty good passer, had 7 assists in that one. I kind of think he's the secondary playmaker here along with Fox. He's a little bit expensive, Rubio, at 6,500, but I think the upside's there for Vassell. And then at the big man spot, they'll probably start Cornette, who had a big game last time out without Wembanyama, put up 35 DraftKings points in 28 minutes. And then he was backed up by old veteran Kelly Olynyk, who had a good game as well in 18 minutes, put up 24 points, 8 assists in that one. I think he had like 12 potential assists. So he was a distributor when he was on the court. I think both Cornette and Olynyk are interesting. I wouldn't play them together, but I bet one of them at least gets there. I like Fox. I like Vassell. I think you can look at Keldon Johnson and Champagnie. The Spurs, in general, maybe my overall favorite team. We'll see on that Detroit news. Memphis will be without a number of guards, including Ja Morant, Jerome, Pippen. All of those guys are out. We'll see Cedric Coward probably play some pretty big minutes. Cam Spencer, perhaps. And then we'll see what else Memphis decides to do. Pretty healthy outside of the guard spot in this game. Spurs, despite the injury, still favored by 6, roughly 234 total in this one. Last game on the DK slate, Rubio, what do you see between the Spurs and the Grizzlies here?
Yeah, I mean, this is 2 teams that really kind of look a lot different than the start of the season, right? Like, yeah, Ja Morant, who obviously has been pouting, for 13, 14 games now, which, yeah, I think that era might be over. I think the Ja time in Memphis.
There's a dual change of scenery needed there, I think, between team and player.
Absolutely. And then you see the Grizzlies go into Cleveland, lose 108-100 last game. Ja Morant played 6 minutes, right? And then all of a sudden, he gets hurt. Coward got a 10-8-2 in 24 minutes. Even with Ja getting hurt, he didn't see extended minutes despite starting. Right, so that was like slightly interesting to me. But what you saw was Vince Williams, who I think will start at point tonight. You have Cam Spencer, who could easily do that role too. But Edey being back, right, immediately slotting into 24 minutes. How much do they run through him, right? That's what I'm kind of wondering here. And I kind of want to go back to this last Memphis game and almost like rewatch it in a sense. Like, how much was Edey touching the ball without Moran in there? Because let's be honest here. Not a whole lot of guys are going to be able to create their own shot. Like, you just go down that list there, and especially with Jaren Jackson's, feels like he's been going backward. But if there was a positive from that game to take, Jaren Jackson actually played 33 minutes, right? He wasn't completely limited. You got Santi Aldama, who has actually been pretty good off the bench, for the entire season too. It's a little bit of a mixed bag with them. Right, it just is. Zach Edey doesn't look like they played through him much at all, man. He only didn't really get that many touches last game. That's kind of interesting to me. I think I could be down for him if he were to get a slightly increase in minutes. Right, he is still coming off an injury, so maybe it won't be too much higher than 24, 25. But I could talk myself into him at 5,900. Coward, I think I'm going to be very high on tonight. I know the minutes weren't great last game, but we have seen him get 30 minutes off the bench before. And now that he's starting, I'm going to be buying that stock. I'm going to be fully in on Vince Williams Jr., right? He's going to be one of the best plays in the slate. Last time I thought a play was that obvious, it was Nick Richards a week ago, and he was unowned, and he had 0 fantasy points in the first half. Vince Williams is a lot better than Nick Richards, but
Vince last game, he led the team, 11 potential assists, passes made, passes received. 56 and 59 in 26 minutes. Anytime you get like that double, the passes over the minutes, yeah, he was essentially operating as a true point guard when he was out there. Cam Spencer was very involved as well when he was on the court, just only got the 20 minutes. So, yeah, Vince.
Yeah, I saw that too. That Cam Spencer numbers, like in the last 2 games, even it like pops off the page a little bit. He had 13 potential assists the game before that. So, like, if it's, I think you can play either one. I think you could even play Spencer off the bench at 4,600, be a little bit more aggressive. But this is where the value kind of lays, right? Like Vince Williams will be like incredibly chalk tonight, right? What did you think? 60%. Did you see that DeAndre Hunter ownership yesterday? Oh my God. 70% in the main 50.
Well, because he was 4,500. His price dropped like 2,000 for no reason. But DraftKings knew. What he ended up with? It wasn't great, was it?
I actually want to say he was on the winner.
Probably.
I think he was, just because like everyone else.
I mean,
I felt
when you're on 70% of the total teams, if you have a decent game, you got a pretty good chance to be on the winner.
Yeah, he was not on the winner. All right, impressive. It was Naz Reid. Pele Larson at 4,200. I'd love the win had him at small forward there. So that was the pivot. I mean, 4,500 DeAndre Hunter to Pele Larson at 4,200. It's a difference in 7 fantasy points or so. I think third place did have DeAndre Hunter. Yeah, they did. 18.25. 9 fantasy point difference there on a simple leverage click. But yeah, I mean, look, Grizzlies are going to be one of the best teams to target. If I rank them, it's Vince Williams, it's Cedric Howard, Jaren Jackson, Santi Aldama, then Cam Spencer is that sneaky guy where he's going to come in under 10% owned. If he plays 22, 23 minutes, all of a sudden you just see like a 5, 3, and like 9 stat line. It wouldn't shock me. You get like 26, 27 DK, had no ownership there. On this type of slate, it's pretty good.
I would play Spencer if on teams where you're fading Williams for whatever reason. Right?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. Not that you want to fade Williams, but that's the great leverage click, right? Like you're getting someone at.
If you are fading Williams, I might get Spencer in there. Is what we're saying. Yeah.
10% of the ownership, right? Like Vince could be 60% and Cam could be 6% tonight. Yeah. And does Williams outperform in 10 times, 100% of the time? No. So you could easily find some leverage there. I guess Edie's going to be that one guy I just have trouble with. Jaren Jackson too. Like those are fine, but I'd rather play the backcourt guys. Coward, I think, is a little bit underprojected. I think Saverson put him at 28 minutes if I had to guess. Yeah, 28 minutes. If I think that's 30, 31, then all of a sudden you're seeing a projection that looks really good, right? Like if you bumped him up to 33, 34, you're getting into that value range where it's like, oh, yeah, then he becomes a great click, right? So, yeah, I mean, Grizzlies are juicy. Jalen Wells' minutes have been really bad for the most part. But, again, another guy who could benefit with Ja out. Not that he has this season to this point, but, could just see the usage kind of spread out amongst all these guys to where these 4K guys are just the best by far.
Yeah. Did you talk about the Spurs side of it?
I have not. This is another really interesting thing, right? Like Kelly Olynyk barely played last game, right? What was it, like 16 minutes or so? I think I might be misremembering. It was 18 minutes, 18:27. Luke Cornett played 27 minutes. You're wondering, where did those other 2 minutes go, right? Well, it was Bismack Biyombo who played 1:55 and then got yanked. I don't know. I was like trying to add up, like, why was that not 48? Bismack got minutes. The bigs are greatly involved. 12 and 11 for Luke Cornett. It's the fact that like he's always been super solid on a DFS point of view, right? Like he's always been someone where if he's getting 30 minutes, he can probably pay off this tag.
I would say Olynyk too, a good point per minute guy. I always have them.
Yes, the 12 potential assists last game, like you said, like it wasn't like the 8 assists or 100% conversion rate. There was some gravy on the table still that he could eat. I just think like with Cornett, like you could easily find yourself in a situation where maybe he's not playing a ton, right? Like maybe they don't want to, play him out there to close. Like Olynyk's playing real well. Like I could see Cornett's minutes kind of being around 24, 25 rather than 31, 32, right?
This is to be aware. I mean, we have a 1-game sample size now of Wembanyama being out. So I think the projections, they just look at what happened in the first game, right? And Cornett was playing great, so he got the 28 minutes compared to Olynyk's 18. But like that could easily flip.
Yes,
You know,
1,000%. I mean, like I know Olynyk played great. Cornette didn't play bad, but like if you want to talk about leverage plays, Olynyk would definitely be an easy leverage.
You get him $1,600 cheaper and half the ownership. I mean, that's a pretty good pivot, I think.
And the thing is, like you just said, it's not, just because it happens one game doesn't mean it's going to happen the next. Like it could easily be like 20, 24, 24, right? Like that the minutes disparity could be a lot closer than, 28, 18. So I like Cornette, but I'm going to be cautiously optimistic on him. I'll probably be over the field on Olynyk without a doubt, slightly under. I'll probably be even with the field on Cornette too, just because I'm like looking at the numbers. He's a good click. Don't get us wrong. I do want one of those guys from the front court though. Cue Bismack Biyombo getting 12 minutes randomly.
Yeah, that could happen too.
That would kill me. This is De'Aaron Fox's team. Vassell also mentioned in the chat here. You need a big to stop Edey though. So Memphis forced Edey. They have to force Cornette. I think like some teams really want to spread out Edey too. Like, all of a sudden they go small and then they can double on the post and make life difficult. Edey's a good enough post player to make you pay, but the post touches for Memphis dropped after they got rid of Jenkins or something like that. I don't know. I could be wrong on that, but yeah, they might just not go in the post enough, which is frustrating because whenever you watch a Memphis game, Edey is always open. Like he just is. And John Morant will rather take a step back 3 ball and miss it than pass it to Edey for an easy assist. De'Aaron Fox last game, 28, 2, and 11. The minutes were up, right? You have no concern about a minutes limit for him. 34.53 or 34.53 that SaberSim has. That's very accurate. Devin Vassell, 34 minutes as well. Those are your 2 best clicks. Vassell, he is definitely going to be option number 2. Like, let's be real here. I don't expect Harrison Barnes or, Sochan to, really kind of interfere with those 2 guys. I think if I had to guess on who's going to start, though, right? Like, would it be Sochan and I guess I think
it's going to be Champagny.
You think it'll be Champagne? Oh, they have done that already this season, haven't they? Yeah. I mean, the Champagny price at 4,700 is a little bit high. These guys I'm not going to play Harrison Barnes. The funniest thing ever that I noticed a trend of was like Harrison Barnes would go off in first quarters and then like not do anything the rest of the game.
I never play Harrison Barnes.
Like I'm just not going to do it either. Keldon Johnson too. Like those are 2 guys. Like, oh God.
Yeah. Asking for disappointment from those 2.
100% of the time. It could easily be a thing too where like Carter Bryant gets a lot of minutes too. So like it is kind of a sticky situation. I think you're going to want 1 to 2 Spurs, maybe even 2 to 3. You could easily run it back with some Grizzlies too, like Vince Williams Jr. and stuff. If you want to get like really unique, I like the Boston game a little bit, but again, this game is definitely the best on the slate.
Makes sense. That's all 4 games on the DraftKings main slate. The 2 additional games, we'll have content up for it, of course, over at Run for Your Sports, and they are on the FanDuel slate. But we'll leave that for the members as we're kind of running up on the hour here. Let's finish it with our favorite plays on the slate, Rubio. Obviously, kind of tough to pick here. 3 hours before lock, don't have the news. But if you had to choose right now your favorite DFS play, and then give us your king of the court pick as it currently stands as well.
Oh, God, kind of really like the Nick Claxton play as I kept looking more and more into it, man. It's not a fluke, right? 17, 8, 7, and 4 blocks. He's always going to be good for a couple blocks a game, right? Game before that was probably his most disappointing, which was still a 13, 5, 3, and 2, which, again, not the sexiest 27 DK points, but then 28, 4, and 2, 2. 12, 5, 5, 2, 4. It's just, I think the upside is going to be there with Claxton on a game-to-game basis. They keep it close. Claxton's going to be my lower-owned play of the day. I don't think he gets 25% because I think these guys, Memphis and San Antonio, gravitate toward a lot of ownership. I think Jalen Duren, whatever happens in the Hawks thing, will kind of clean that up too. I think Claxton comes in under 20% owned and is my play of the day.
What about King of the Court?
King of the Court, man. Oh, God. Let me look up the Drew news. I need the Drew Holiday news. All right, that's the number one.
He's doubtful, so I think he's going to be out.
All right, you know what? Let's get funky. All right, if I say Luka Doncic, what am I really doing for the people, right? Danny Avdia, baby. Danny Avdia. Triple-double tonight. 30, 12, and 11. 53 PRA. Beats out Luka Doncic by 2 PRA for the king of the court.
All right. I like it. I'll go my DFS play of the day. I'm going with Mr. Vassell for the Spurs. Devin Vassell. I think he's going to have a strong game. He'll be popular, but 6,500, I think the price is right for him. I'm in on that. And then king of the court. I'm going to stick with the Spurs backcourt. I think De'Aaron Fox in for another big game here. We'll have to do it mostly through the points, but the assists have been there as well. A long shot, but should be lower round, so hopefully a good payout if De'Aaron Fox can get the job done. That'll do it for this 4-game slate. I'll be here with JSU at the normal time tomorrow, an hour up to lock. Rubio, any final thoughts for the people before we get on out of here?
No, not at all. Should be a good time. 4 games. FanDuel has all 6. So if you're playing over there, it'll be a very interesting style difference, right? I think it's been crazy every single game, DC, is that every single slate, it's completely different on FanDuel than DK. It's, kind of like you're playing 2 different slates entirely. So it's been fun to kind of play both sides.
Yeah, I like it as well. I like the difference between the two. That'll do it for today. Thanks for Rubio for joining the show. Thanks for everybody for watching. Hit the like button on your way out if you haven't yet done so. For members, we'll, of course, be in the Discord, cores, content, late game stuff, all up on Run Pure Sports. That'll do it for the day, though. For Rubio, I'm DC, and we're out of here.